Joe Carnahan is back with another movie that is a total throwback to 70s, 80s, and even 90s action crime thrillers, and that is Copshop, starring Frank Grillo and Gerard Butler. What's going on, buddy? Welcome back to a brand new movie review. Today we're discussing Copshop. This is about a man on the run from a lethal assassin, and this wily con artist decides to scheme to hide out in a small town police station. But when the hitman turns up at the precinct and an unexpected rookie cop finds herself caught in the crosshairs. Again, this is directed by Joe Carnahan, who I think when it comes down to his movies, I kind of am a little bit biased to them because I do like these old school action crime thrillers that he's usually able to develop, and usually his style of directing has always been able to do that, whether we look at Smokin' Aces, or even The Grey, or even now Copshop, and even earlier this year, Boss Level. All of these movies have this old school action vibe to it, like say Die Hard. And we don't get a lot of movies like this, where they're brutal, they're straightforward, and with this one in particular, it was different than what I was expecting it to be, but I actually kind of dug that. It's a little bit more of a smaller to the ground, taking place in one central location, all inside this police station pretty much, and just a lot of dialogue in here, but very interesting ones, and I think this is like a film that Tarantino would really like. But of course, if you guys are new here though, and you guys also love talking movies, make sure to hit that like and subscribe button, as well as comment down below your guys' thoughts. Are you guys excited for Copshop? Do you like Joe Carnahan movies? Let's discuss it all down there. As always, I love to start with the performances, so let's start with Frank Grillo, who is always really good in these roles. He knows and understands the assignments and dives into them. Gerard Butler again plays Gerard Butler, understands the assignment and definitely dives into it. Toby Hewis plays this kind of like crazy hitman as well, who I actually really liked him in this. I was sitting there, I was like, oh, I've seen this guy before. What's he from? Then I'm looking up, I'm like, okay, this is a completely different role than he's ever played, but he's acting his ass off, and I liked it. For me, the biggest standout of this is Alexis Louder, who plays the rookie cop in here, Valerie. I don't recall seeing her in pretty much anything else before, but if this is like one of her first big roles, bravo to her. She is awesome in here. She's amazing. I loved her performance, and she's also kind of a little bit of a badass. Her chemistry, her flair, and even the big thing that I really adore about her was the charisma that she really much imbued. When you have Frank Grillo and Gerard Butler, two very charismatic actors, and you're going up against them, and you're the standout, a big pro in my book. Like I mentioned, Joe Carnahan has this style of directing that it very much feels itched towards me, and I'm sure if you were even interested in this movie, you probably have liked his other previous movies as well, and you adore those type of things. The reason that I mentioned that Tarantino would like something like this is because the action isn't really heavy until the end, and it's filmed good, it's fun, and it's straightforward like back in the early 70s, 80s, 90s, and not any of these crazy John Wick shots, but just straightforward action. It's not jump cutty or any of that nature, which thank God it wasn't. But I liked how they were able to direct this movie, and really much how this movie is more dialogue heavy than anything. The reveals that you find out throughout it, the interesting dialogue and bantering between the actors among this was, again, the best aspect of the entire film, and I liked how the movie would continue to keep you on edge as you're following along with the entire story, and I actually think the script was one of the best things about the film. It's going to be definitely different for every person, because someone might watch this, not know who Joe Carnahan is, not maybe even understand the assignment, or in general just that's not the type of film that you wanted from this, because I actually haven't seen the trailer for this, so I don't know how this film looks. I just knew it was directed by Joe Carnahan, and I liked the actors, but watching this, it was again different than what I expected. I expected a straight up action thriller taking place, and these two people going after one another, but it was different than that. Pretty much for the entire film, they're locked up in cells, discussing, bantering, and just having these great conversations. Sometimes a film like this comes along, and really the last one that this one reminded me of was, if you guys remember that movie Free Fire from Ben Wheatley, which I really like that one as well. This movie has that exact style and tone to it all. The bantering, the yelling, and all sorts of things like that. The only thing I would have truly changed from this movie is the length. I think this movie is way too damn long. There are certain sequences or even twists that I maybe would have completely gotten rid of, and certain characters that come into frame that I'm like, why are they here? And even though I understood why they were there, I was like, an easy rewrite could have gotten rid of this character and made it a little bit more simplified, because that's overall what the film was. By the end, it started getting a little bit overly convoluted, but even then, Copshop was a blast. It's a nice little throwback to 80s, 70s, 90s action crime dramas, and that's kind of what I was looking for. We don't get a lot of these too often, but when Joe Carnahan comes around to direct something like this, I'm all in for it. Again, way too damn long, and I think it should have been cut at least 20 minutes, and I think this movie would have been perfect. So with all that said, I'm going to give Copshop a B. This is definitely a B movie. If you know what you're getting into, you're going to enjoy this one. If you don't, and you go into this and you're just like, what the hell is this? It's goofy dialogue, cheesy dialogue at the same time. It's not going to be for you. And we can have those great conversations down below. So make sure, again, to hit that like and subscribe button. Head on over to Sandwich on Films on how to see films early. And, of course, it's a big thank you to you and a big thank you to my Patreon supporters. Because without you, I would not be able to do this. So, of course, until next time, stay classy.